We Came as Romans, Black Hole featuring Caleb Shomo. I just saw Caleb Shomo and Beartooth just a couple of weeks ago. Highly recommend the Below tour. If you get a chance, definitely see Beartooth. But I've heard and I've seen a little bit that there's some CGI and some cool VFX going on in this video. I am a CGI artist. I've been so for about 2 years. And if you want to check out my portfolio, link is in the description below. But let's go ahead and get into this. I'm Jordan Needham. This is We Came as Romans, Black Hole. Let's go. Had a lot of producing of the whole thing.
Floating phrase, suspended aimlessly. Emptiness, but I don't feel nothing. As soon as I turn around, convinced that I'm safe and sound. Feel both my feet on the ground. I fall into a black hole in my head.
That's sick.
Reach into the darkness for what's left. I'm fighting the
Okay.
It's pulling the worst part out of me.
Oh, oh. Oh.
The other side, another life,
Okay, let's
chasing
go.
the great unknown. I'll never know the afterglow, 'cause I can't let it go. As soon as I turn around, convinced that I'm safe and sound. Feel both my feet on the ground. I fall into a black hole in my head.
Go.
Reach into the darkness for what's left. I'm fighting the gravity. It's pulling the worst part out of me. Black hole.
Oh, let's go. Let's do it.
Go.
Oh. Oh.
The sound as I turn around.
Oh.
Convinced that I'm
Oh.
safe and sound. Feel both my feet on the ground. Fall into a black hole in
Oh.
my head. Reach into the darkness for what's left. I'm fighting the crowd.
Oh. I thought that was cool.
It's pulling the worst part out of
Build
me.
up.
I fall into a black hole in my head. Sinking in the words I left unsaid. I'm fighting the gravity. It's pulling the worst part out of me. Black hole. Black
Ooh. Ooh. Wow, I have a lot to say about the video and the track, so this might be a longer review than I usually do. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna dive into how I feel about the music as a whole, because I know a lot of you are here for that. Being a We Came as Romans fan, really being a fan of like Carry the Weight, that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for. This was kind of more of a hard rock vibe than it was a metalcore, hardcore sort of vibe, but that's okay. It's not my favorite single out of the few that they've released, but especially comparing it to Dark Bloom, it makes sense, right? Like it makes sense. But I hope to see some more like metalcore on the album. But aside from me just being a metalcore guy, I actually think the song was really solidly structured. I think that the chorus hit well. For sure. It was a solid track. And a feature from Caleb Shomo. It's Caleb Shomo, man. I was hoping to get some more cleans from him to really show his dynamic range. From cleans to screams and kind of the vocal performance that this man can do. I'm telling you, I saw him with Beartooth a couple of weeks ago. It's insane. I mean, Beartooth live is like better than Beartooth recorded. And that says a lot, because there's a lot of bands where you see them live and you almost feel like you're disappointed. Like you almost wish you never saw them live, you know? Definitely not the case for Beartooth. Okay, let's get into this video. First of all, I just want to say up front that I know that these videos are there's always a budget, right? and there's certain clips that they have to focus more on, certain scenes that they focus more on than others, and they dedicate more time, more money into those scenes. So there's always gonna be a few where it's not the artist that made the mistake necessarily. A lot of times it's that, you know, they either ran out of money or they ran out of time or both. So I want to be upfront about that before it looks like I'm ripping on anybody. I'm not at all. There are some things I want to say though. We saw some really cool effects in here. Okay, so I'm gonna go into that log scene kind of in the intro. I think that's where the intense kind of effects started really happening. I think this is one of the scenes they maybe could have spent more time on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, and we see that portal starting to open. This is all compositing. Biggest part of this entire project is compositing. So now I'm not a master at VFX. I'm actually more in like the just like raw CGI designing. Not a lot of compositing work with real footage, but I do know a thing or two about it. So I think this looks pretty good, but especially right there, you can tell something's off. Right here. You can tell something's just a little off with the compositing. That's okay though. Again, budgets. Here's where it really caught my eye though. That's really sick. That's actually really sick when that building is exploding. I think they did a really good job on that. And that was a lot of particles. That's a sick shot. So good job on that one. That's a gnarly shot. That's not easy to do. That's probably what they spent a lot of time on. So, but when this tower falls, this is when I noticed that the compositing could have used a little bit more work. That smoke sim, the dust, I guess it's dust. It could have had a few more layers on top of this. If you guys have ever seen like movies and their VFX kind of behind the scenes and everything, you'll see them apply all these layers. There could have been a few more layers to kind of mix that in, blend that in with the rest of the scene. Again, like you can tell he's green screened. It doesn't really look fully real. Now I wonder in this video how much of it they're trying to make really real, because again, like when you're floating in space, you know, we don't have people floating in space right now. So that's obviously fictional. I think that actually helps the rest of the video because, you know, it sells that whole thing of like, you know, a wormhole or a portal. It's not just going to open up and get you sent to the space. So we know there's some fiction going on here. So we're ready to see some things that are a little bit out of this world. Not necessarily real. Again, just could have used more time on this. But I think overall it actually looks good. Like the simulation itself is actually really good. The physics look pretty good. And the smoke sim, the dust kind of thing, that actually looks pretty good. It's just that it's not composited perfect. And that actually looked really good right there. Holding onto the log, that was actually some good compositing. Now we're gonna get into one of the kind of most off-putting scenes that I had in this video. That was actually Caleb's feature. It's definitely green screen, and you can tell looking at it. I wonder how they got his footage, because it's different than the rest of the video. So I'm wondering if they filmed at a different time, or it's he could use more color correction and color grading to kind of mix him in with the rest of that scene. But like right here, I know that there's some blurring effects going on here. You can tell he doesn't really feel immersed into the scene, right? It's like a little too bright, and that's a problem with doing such a dark scene right here, right? I think if they were to make it look really real, you would hardly be able to see him. He'd kind of look like those asteroids or those rocks in the background. So they do have to make him a little bit brighter, but I think if they tinted it a little more like blue and darkened him just a little bit, that could make it look a lot more immersed. If you notice on the, I'm blanking on some terms here, but if you notice on the green screen effect, the wrap, like you can tell where the green screen ends and where the feathering is happening. It's too white. It should be a little bit more blue tinted and maybe purple tinted, just like a little darker. Now, I don't know the budget behind this video, and if you're the artist watching this, I'm not trying to rip on you. I guarantee you know how to do this shot. You probably just had limitations, and that's totally fine, dude. And you're probably way better at it than I am, right? This isn't my specialty. Again, VFX, not really my thing. 3D design without real world effects, that's kind of my thing, right? Okay. Yeah, Okay, if you look in his hair, you can see the kind of green tint behind it. Hair is always really hard. With my little experience from green screen, but also just hearing other artists, visual effects artists talk about it, green screens don't always make friends with hair. It can be the hardest part, and then you have to clip like a lot of it out, and then it almost looks like this smooth, like way too smooth. You don't see little hair particles pointing out. You just see a way too smooth, sort of rounded head that doesn't look real at all. So it is a hard thing to fix. It almost looks like Caleb Shomo filmed this in his own house. You know, a lot of people have green screens now because this is a very straightforward shot, front facing the camera, and he's not moving a whole lot in terms of walking this way or in terms of 3D space. I almost think that they sent this to the VFX artists and they were like, yeah, this is what we got for the green screen for Caleb Shomo. Make what you can of it. I know it's not perfect. And blending this in with the rest of the video is really interesting. Yes, the wormhole effect. Okay, yeah, I've actually created a wormhole. It's actually relatively easy inside of Blender. I did it a long time ago. I didn't really perfect it. I didn't spend too much time on it, but this is a pretty cool effect, and it's really not that hard. Yeah, there we go. There's the wormhole again. That ripped. See what I'm saying? How like this is a lot more 3D than Caleb's scene. Caleb's is just like, it's like a 2D plane in the background and that's his space. Whereas in this one right here, we can actually see that there's like rocks and it's more of a 3D space. There's rocks layered on top of the lead singer of We Came as Romans. And it looks a lot better too. It really does. It looks like they spent a lot more time on this than they did the feature. Because look at that. I mean, the feather, the green screen, it's way more realistic. And also the blurred depth of field looks really good here. Yes. See right there? This is what I'm really talking about. Out of the entire time where they're in space, I think this is like the coolest shot. And this one probably looks the best. I think they could have done a little bit more work on blending him with the scene, but as I said, look how dark these rocks are. And if you were to make him that dark, it'd be really hard to see him. So it's almost like an impossible task, so to speak. You have to make it somewhat unrealistic to make him stand out, and you don't want to just be looking at a blank space, right? There's more 3D going on here, and it really sells it a lot more. You can see there's stuff behind him, but also stuff in front of him, and then some stuff like in between his two legs, really selling that he's within and immersed within this scene. Props to the artist that worked on this shot for sure. No, this is a good shot. Yeah, it's definitely a good shot. If you're going for like a less, kind of more creative, more stylized sort of space, I think this is good. I'm kind of thinking these things through, kind of seeing how I would do it too. Right here too, a lot of work going on. They probably spent more money, more time on the end of this song. You want it to build. So you want the bridge to hit really hard. It's gonna be a little bit more upbeat, a little more fast paced. So there's more keyframes, more things to animate, more effects to gloss over. So they probably spent more time and money on this last kind of minute of the song. And you know, that is noticeable. And the quality of the effects here, which is really cool. I really love to see kind of like just a down-to-earth part of this where it's like, yeah, it's a band and they don't have unlimited Disney money, so there's some things that they have to sacrifice, and that's okay. I mean, but that was cool, some time warps and stuff like that. Yes, right here. This is the craziest part. This is what I'm saying. They spent more time and more money on the end of this video for sure. A lot of stuff going on here. You got the clouds. You got those two kind of, they're not really black holes scientifically speaking. So I don't know what they're going for, but these two kind of holes into space per se. And then he's immersed in this 3D space. Everything surrounding him. You see this kind of, I think this is a rotating camera. I could be wrong. If that's the case, though, that's a hard shot. Okay, it's not. Okay, it's not. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it's not like Matrix rotating, you know, that scene from the Matrix where, you know, there's bullets going past him, that like super iconic VFX shot. Game changer, right? This isn't rotating in that same way, which would add a lot of complexity to the perspective of the shot. But I think they stuck with the stills and kind of still moving the camera, but it looks really good, right? We have a glitching effect. We have all these like warps and, man, particle systems, I believe. That's a lot of work going on there. Wow. Okay, so there was a lot to look at in that video. That's really awesome. And then just diving into the creative aspects of this video. Props to the team that worked on this. I know there's always limitations. I know that you did your best on what you could work with. If you are one of the VFX artists that worked on this video, please feel free to reach out. You know, I'm always looking for new kind of 3D CGI connections. I know I did see Dark Bloom, and I think that one was more impressive to me. So if you worked on that one, definitely let me know. I didn't give that one the kind of deep dive that I did on this at all, but I'd be interested to know the behind the scenes, and perhaps even if I could interview you on how this video happened and what went on behind the scenes. So if any of you want to reach out, please do. This is a much longer video than usual, but I really do like doing these CGI breakdowns and these deep dives, because CGI is what I really want to do for my career, and I work hard on it every day. I spend hours on it every day, so I get better and better. And I think one of the ways that you get better as an artist is by studying other artists' work. If there's any other crazy music videos with CGI, some VFX in it, let me know in the comments below so that I can check that out. And if you want to see more reactions on this channel, whatever it is, you know, Beartooth, Caleb Shomo, We Came as Romans, Metalcore, Hardcore, Deathcore, anything else, let me know by hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell, so that when I do react to those things, you'll be able to see them. And as always, I'm Jordan Needham. This has been J Ham Entertainment, and I will catch you next time.